is my Lord, birth after birth. From him is there emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, and give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame spread all over the worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada. Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Johannes, du hast auch schon mal den Vers aufgeschrieben, oder? Den Vers hast du auch schon. Ja, kannst du das machen? Weißt du, welche Vers? 21. 21, ja. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Divine Grace, let us see Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritta Naram Chiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So we continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 21 today. Can you see it? Yeah. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya Uvacha. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Tatarshanathvastatamura jomala. Tatarshanathvastatamura jomala. Tatarshanathvastatamura jomala. Giragrinan Gattataya Surittamam. Giragrinan Gattataya Surittamam. Maitreya Vacha. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Tatarshanathvastatamuraja Rajomala. Tatarshanathvastatamura jomala. Giragrinam Gatgadaya Surittamam. Giragrinam Gatgadaya Surittamam. Please chant. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya Vacha. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Janardanam Pranjalaya Prachetasa. Tatarshanathvastatamura jomala. Giragrinam Gatgadaya Sutrittamam. What to choose? Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Evam Bruvanam Purushartha Bhajanam. Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya said, Evam thus, Pruvanam, speaking, Purushartha, of the ultimate goal of life, Bhajanam, the bestower, Janardhanam, who takes away all the disadvantages of the devotee. Pranjalayaha, with folded hands. Prachetasaha, the Pracheta brothers. Tat, him. Darshana, by seeing. Dvasta, dissipated. Tamaha, of darkness. Rajaha, of passion. Malaha, whose contamination. Gira, with the voice. Agrinan, offered prayers. Gatgataya, faltering. Suritamam, unto the greatest of all friends. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya said, after the personality of Godhead spoke thus, the Prachetas began to offer him prayers. The Lord is the bestower of all success in life and is the supreme benefactor. He is also the supreme friend who takes away all miserable conditions experienced by a devotee. In a faltering voice, due to ecstasy, the Prachetas began to offer prayers. They were purified by the presence of the Lord who was before them, face to face. Purport. The Lord is herein described as Purushartha Bhajanam, the bestower of the ultimate goal of life. Whatever success we want in life can be attained by the mercy of the Lord. Since the Prachetas had already attained the Lord's mercy, they were no longer subject to the contamination of the material modes. The material modes dissipated from them just as the darkness of night immediately dissipates when the sun rises. Because the Lord appeared before them, naturally all the contaminations of the material qualities of Rajas and Tamas completely disappeared. Similarly, when an unalloyed devotee chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is also purified of all material contamination, because the name of the Lord and the Lord are identical. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17, Shrinvatam Svakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantas Toya Bhadrani Vidunoti Surit Satam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. The holy name of the Lord is the Lord himself. If one chants and hears, he becomes purified. Gradually all material contamination disappears. The Prachetas were already purified due to the Lord's presence before them, and they could therefore offer the proper prayers with folded hands. In other words, as soon as devotees are engaged in devotional service, they become transcendental to all material contamination immediately, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sagunan Samatityaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Sometimes the devotees are dissatisfied due to their not seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally. When the Prachetas saw the Supreme Lord personally present, their unhappiness vanished. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shuna. The great sage Maitreya said, after the personality of Godhead spoke thus, the Prachetas began to offer him prayers. The Lord is the bestower of all success in life and is the supreme benefactor. He is also the supreme friend who takes away all miserable conditions experienced by a devotee. In a faltering voice, due to ecstasy, the Prachetas began to offer prayers. They were purified by the presence of the Lord, who was before them, face to face. Hare Krishna. So, we are still here, hearing about the Prachetas, how they interact with the Supreme Lord. And in this verse, Maitreya is now speaking, because Maitreya is actually telling this pastime. He's narrating what happened there. To whom is Maitreya speaking? Vidura. Who is Vidura? Where are you now in Bhagavad?
Me?
Yes.
It's the story of Ajam.
Ajam is sixth canto. Okay, so you know who is Vidura.
Yes, I heard.
You remember?
I think he's the son of Yamaraj.
Yes. He's interesting point. Sorry?
Incarnation.
He's incarnation of Yamaraj. And who is he in this, when he appeared, what kind of role did he play?
Vidura?
Yes, you remember?
I think he's a brother of, which is his brother?
His brother of?
I don't remember so well, but I think he has a famous brother.
Yeah, very famous.
And who is it? Arjun? No.
Pandu.
And,
and Dhritarashtra.
Yes.
Yes. So Maitreya is speaking to Vidura, and I think that's one of the longest conversations in Bhagavatam. Actually, Bhagavatam is very interesting. I once started to make a chart, and I still have to finish the chart. I wanted to graphically show how in Bhagavatam there's one conversation in another conversation in another conversation in another conversation. So, which is the main conversation of Bhagavatam? No, there is one before Shukadev Goswami. You said Maharaj Parikshit, but who speaks to Maharaj Parikshit? Shukadev Goswami or? Shukadev Goswami, I'm just confused. Sutta Goswami? Sutta Goswami?
It's the first conversation. Namisharanya.
In Namisharanya speaks Shuka Goswami too?
No. Sutta Goswami.
Sutta Goswami, sorry.
Shalakarish.
Sutta Goswami too. And then Shukadev Goswami is there and he speaks to Parikshit.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sorry, I got mixed up here. So yes,
Shukadeva Goswami heard from Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva Goswami arise on the Ganges or Yamuna, the great debate, because Parikshit Maharaj, because of the course of the Brahmana Shuri, will die in 7 days.
Yes.
In this moment, Shukadeva Goswami appeared and started speaking. But present was Narada Muni and Vyasadeva.
Everybody was present, right?
Yeah, waiting the Shukadeva Goswami is coming.
Yeah, but now So Sutta Goswami, yes, Shukadev Goswami speaks to Parikshit Maharaj and he's basically narrating the...
Sutta Goswami and his father Ramaharshna was present in the Shukadeva Goswami talking.
Actually, Sutta Goswami speaks to the sages of Naimisharanya and Sukadev Goswami is there.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So this is the main conversation of Bhagavatam between Shukadev and Parikshit, and Shukadev tells what he heard between Sutta and the sages of Naimisharanya, and then Sutta Goswami again, he tells another conversation, and I think the next bigger conversation is Maitreya and Vidura.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maitreya and Vidura, again, they will tell many conversations. And I think if you look at it from the cantos, Maitreya and Vidura goes up to, you remember which canto?
Sorry?
The conversation of Maitreya and Vidura, do you remember?
Third canto.
It starts third canto,
Yeah, third canto,
and goes
canto,
till,
the first chapter.
goes till which canto?
This is another name. Sorry.
I think I should, one time, I have the chart, I can show, it's quite interesting.
I think it's sixth canto, but then not sure.
It actually, by us studying Bhagavatam, I find it's very good to understand the structure of Bhagavatam and who is speaking to whom, so we feel inspired when we hear, we know what's happening where we are. And what is good is like to think, okay, where is it happening and when is it happening and who is talking, who is involved. And in this way the Bhagavatam becomes more real for us. In any case, in this verse, Maitreya is again speaking, before he then again quotes the Prachetas, and he making one point which is very important to understand, and this point is that Krishna, he is saying the supreme benefactor and he's the supreme friend. There's many benefactors and many friends in this world. For example, Dino is a friend and Mahakrishna is a benefactor, always giving blessings. He's a Brahmin. So there's many friends, we have many friends, and maybe we have experienced many people who have been benefactors in our life, who have been blessing us. But the Supreme is always Krishna. He's the supreme friend, the supreme benefactor. And what does this actually mean is that Dino, as my friend, he can do a small portion of good to me. Like he can, if I ask him, please go and buy something there, and because he's my friend, he will probably do it. He will go and do it for me. And so he's my friend. But if I ask Dino, please take away all my sinful reactions, Can Dina do it? Probably not. Because for this you need to be Krishna. He can do that. And that's what we heard here. That in the verse it says that by the Lord actually completely frees one from Raja and Tamas, and in this way one becomes free from all contamination, and in this way from all suffering. And we are here in this temple to understand this. We are like in school, and we're trying to understand that actually I have to surrender to Krishna. I have so many desires in my heart, it's unlimited. Who agrees? Do you have some desire?
Yeah, of course.
What kind of a desire you have?
All kinds of desires.
So give one.
Eating.
Eating. You have a desire, Chapala? Du hast du einen Wunsch? Kannst du ein Beispiel geben von einem Wunsch?
Yeah, now to understand Brahma Samhita, because I have a problem.
Du möchtest die Brahma Samhita?
Yeah, because I don't understand everything.
It's a little complicated, right? Okay, you want to understand Brahma Samhita? You have some desire?
To buy a nice phone.
To buy a nice phone? Yes, that must be now very prominent in your mind now that your phone broke down. You have any desire, Adi?
Oh. God consciousness all over the world.
God consciousness all over the world.
Understanding the Maha Mantra.
Understanding the Maha Mantra. Nice, you have so many spiritual desires.
I have no desire.
No desires, very good. Krishna now?
I have desire, spiritual desire together many material desires.
Many material desires. So we have many who have desires. Some they have material desires. Some they have mixed desires. Some they have spiritual desires. And some have no desires. Hare Krishna. There is one very important verse. It's actually one of the most important verses Prabhupada also used it a lot. It's in Bhagavatam, and it addresses all of you here. It says, Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarati divrena bhakti yogena yajeta purushantaram. You know this verse? You know this verse? Yeah. This verse says, a person who has a broader intelligence, speaking about you, whether he be full of all material desire, or at least some material desire, full of material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of God. Do you remember in Bhagavad Gita how Krishna speaks about demigod worship? Krishna, he speaks to Arjuna and he tells him how the human beings in this world, they are meant to offer worship to the demigods, and by doing this, the demigods will again then give them what they need. But then later on, Krishna is saying, actually this is only unintelligent people are doing this. So he's kind of, he's telling Arjuna, do this, it's good, you have to do it, but then again he's telling, actually this is not good. And if we look at the Vedic scriptures, there is so much information, who can give you what. Sometimes it is said the Vedic scripture is like a catalogue. Sometimes, actually many times we get in our postbox some catalog, advertisement, from different companies, Coop or Micro, Aldi, and they send us a catalog, and you can see what they sell, and you see the price. And the Vedas can be compared to a catalog, because you can go through all the Vedas, and the Vedas will tell you, okay, you have this desire, you can do this. You have this desire, you can do that. For example, sometimes if somebody wants to become very intelligent and understand, like you want to understand Brahma Samhita, then if they want to understand it or they want to attain knowledge, who do they worship? Do you remember who is the personality who gives you good knowledge? Saraswati, yes. So then in the Vedas you would understand, okay, I want to have knowledge, then I worship Saraswati. Or if you want to be wealthy, if you want to have a lot of money, who do you worship?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, yes. And also Ganesh is recommended. If you want to have a beautiful husband, who do you worship? You know?
Maybe Shiva.
Shiva, sometimes Shiva. Sometimes they also worship, like in Vrindavan, they worship Katyayani, Durga. So there you can approach different personalities, and because they have some power, they can give you what you desire. But then, even if we see in some pastimes, for example, when it comes to Saraswati, there is this pastime of the Kashmiri, Keshav Kashmiri. Keshav Kashmiri, he lived during Mahaprabhu's time. Somebody's translating. No. You can continue, I was just thinking. It looked like somebody's translating. During Mahaprabhu's time, there was one big scholar, his name was Keshava Kashmiri. He was they said he was the Digvijay. He conquered all India by his knowledge, by his learning. In India, especially during that time, the tradition was that the Pandits, the scholars, they would meet in different places. There was like very important places in India where you would go and all the learned people would meet and they would debate. That's like a culture in India, which is still there now, but unfortunately not so prominent anymore due to the influence of Kali Yuga. So they would come together, and the custom was that one scholar, he would put out a challenge that whoever wants to debate can come. And then the other scholars would come and they would debate. And this Keshav Kashmiri, he traveled through the whole India and he conquered everyone. And then he came to Navadvip eventually. And in Navadvip used to be very popular for scholars to go and debate. He also came to Navadvip and again he put out a challenge, but nobody would dare to go because everybody was afraid. They knew he's such a learned scholar. And Mahaprabhu was at the time a young boy. I don't remember, he was maybe 12 years or something. He was already teaching. Actually we see from, if we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how much we degraded in our human civilization degraded. You see, when Mahaprabhu was present, a boy of maybe 12 years age would start to teach, would become a teacher. And we even hear from about 100, 150 years ago, in a very young age, especially men, but women in their own way, they would take care of the household. They would be very responsible. They would, in the age of 12, 13, they would actually take care of a whole business or a household and be independent. And today this is unimaginable. If you look at a 12, 13, 14-year-old, mostly they are so unqualified. What to speak of? And then you see even 20, 25, 30-year-old people, they not able to, if you would tell them now you have to maintain a family, now you have to work, they cannot do it. Only very few can do it nowadays. So, and Mahaprabhu, in the time, he became teacher in the age of 12, and he was very famous. He was the most qualified teacher, of course, and he was many students came from all over the place. And so when this Keshav Kashmiri came, Mahaprabhu met him, and he challenged him. He told him that they were at the Ganges, and he told this Keshava Kashmiri, can you please compose some poetry about Ganga, glorifying Ganga? And Keshav Kashmiri immediately, without a second, started to speak verses, spontaneously composed verses. How many verses?
100.
100?
100 or 60.
So a lot of verses, and it's described like the flow of the water of the Ganges. He spoke this poetry just out of the second. He asked him, Mahaprabhu asked him, please, you glorify Ganga, and he immediately started to glorify Ganga, spontaneously, composing new prayers. And so he finished his prayers, and then Mahaprabhu said, wow, I'm very impressed, it was very nice. Just you did a few mistakes here and there. And Keshav Kashmiri was immediately shocked. What? What are you saying? I did any mistake? Nobody ever found mistake in my compositions. And in any way, he was saying I was speaking so fast. How is it possible that you even catch that I did a mistake? And so Mahaprabhu actually pointed out to him that he was telling him what kind of mistakes he made. And it's all mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in detail. And he defeated Keshav Kashmiri. And Keshav Kashmiri, why do I say that? Keshav Kashmiri was worshipping Saraswati. That's why he became so intelligent, so knowledgeable. And so when Mahaprabhu defeated him, he went to Saraswati and prayed, how is it possible that I was defeated by Mahaprabhu? Because he got a blessing, I think. Keshav Kashmiri got a blessing that Saraswati would always support him with the knowledge, give him the knowledge, give him the right words. So he went to Saraswati to pray, how is it possible? And he came to the realization that it must be that this is the master of Saraswati. That's why he could defeat him. So this is a small story how Krishna is always the supreme, and he's always more qualified than anyone else. So for us, we come here to this temple, we stay here, and we try to understand this point that I have so many desires in my heart. I guess not all of you mentioned all of your desires. Sometimes we are not even aware of our desires. But basically these desires can be grouped into 4 categories, and maybe you can analyze your own internal life and see, okay, which of these categories are very prominent. These categories are dharma, artha, karma, moksha. These are what is described here as the purusharthas. Everything, all the desires in this world, they can be placed in these 4 categories.
I'm going to translate what they mean, the categories.
Yes, dharma means dharma. Cannot translate dharma. Artha means economic development. That's how Prabhupada said. It means wealth. Okay, you have a desire for money, you have a desire for a house, you have a desire for property, you have a desire for car. This is all artha. You want some facilities. And why do you want facilities? Because karma. You have material desires. You want to eat nice, you want to have nice sex life, you want to have nice family life, you want to have a nice television, to enjoy entertainment. These are all karma desires. And then the last one, moksha. You have a desire to be free from all miseries. So all our desires can be placed in one of these categories, and it's Krishna, he's described as Purushartha Vajanam, who is actually granting our desires. And we should understand that all these desires not only can they be fulfilled by Krishna, but actually he is the reservoir of all pleasure which we are seeking. So there's different grades how we should come to realize this. One is that, okay, I have a desire and I understand that I can ask Krishna and he will fulfill it. But what is actually better? What is the highest approach?
To be without desires.
Sorry?
To be without desires.
To be without desires, yes. That's even better. That, like we chant in the morning the Shikshastakam prayers, Nadanamna Janamna Sundarim Kavitam Jagadisha Karnaye Mama Jamani Jamanishware Bhavatat Bhakti Raheta Kitve. So this is our goal, that actually I understand I don't need anything. I just need the service to Krishna. I don't need anything. And then I will be happy.
So you can also be attached to the desire to not have any desires. That could also be your biggest desire, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly that. Not having any desire means to not have any material desire. But if then you can only have no material desire if you have spiritual desire. But if you don't have a spiritual desire, then you will have a desire for liberation, which is negative. And this is in a way, again, a desire for sense gratification.
Like, because it's impersonal, or...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have a desire to be free from suffering. Is still connected to you suffer in this world. It's still connected to your body, but it's a negative approach. So the only way is actually to have spiritual desires. And we should cultivate our spiritual desires, like, how can I understand Brahma Samhita? And then by this desire, we will engage. For example, we take courses, we meet devotees who will explain, we will study, and in this way we engage in devotional service and we fulfill our spiritual desires. Or you said to understand the Mahamantra, Dino. This is a very basic, broad understanding, desire, and so we engage in devotional service so that I can actually come to this point of understanding. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is this mention how the desires, they are like rivers flowing into the ocean. And you cannot stop a river, it's impossible. No, our biggest river in Switzerland is the River Rhine. You cannot stop River Rhine. It's impossible. No, it's impossible, you cannot stop. And in the same way, desires cannot be stopped. And Krishna Prabhu, whenever he quotes that, he will say, I quoted this many times, I like to quote it. In Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions somewhere, how can you stop the river? There is one way how you can stop the river.
Ocean.
The ocean. And how? How does the ocean stop the river? This is very broad. This you can quote in any situation, but I want to be more specific. How does a river get stopped by the ocean? Did you see when the river flows into the ocean? The river stops flowing at some point, even though it's still a river. Did you see that? If you go to a place where the river goes into it can be a lake or an ocean, at a few meters or miles before that, the river will not flow anymore. It will be like the ocean. It will be.
It's in Bhagavad Gita when this yogi he not have attention to this desire. His mind like ocean.
Yeah, but Prabhupada mentioned something else in Bhagavatam. He says, by you having spiritual desires, which means you always, now I'm telling you what he says, you have to make plans. You have to, first of all, you need spiritual desires, and then you have to make a plan. And by making plans, this is like the ocean which is pushing back your material desires. And the example is given that if you, especially if you're not on the purified stage, and Srila Prabhupada even himself said that to be lusty, to have material desires is normal. And he even said something to the extent that I also have desires, but I don't have any time. It's a very profound point that everybody likes to eat something nice. Everybody likes all this kind of, it's natural, it's nature. It's not unnatural that we want to enjoy. But if you have spiritual desires, and especially if you have a plan how to serve Krishna, and you receive so much happiness from that, even though Prabhupada said, I see a beautiful woman, but I don't want to enjoy her because I'm so absorbed in my devotional service. So that is the way how to come to this ultimate stage. And we should all personally see, what do I want to do for Krishna? Do I want to make Mayapur TV great again? Or do I want to become the best cleaner in the whole ISKCON world? Or do I want to become the best cook? Or do I want to become the best Shila Pujari? I want to do prasadam distribution. I know many of you have spiritual desires, but then we have to make plans how to. And this is the way to go. This is the way. And then our life is so full of enthusiasm. We get up in the morning and we know we have a goal, we have a plan, and we are blissfully engaged in Krishna's service. So thank you. That spontaneously came. I didn't really prepare much. I'm sorry for that. And it's already 8:30, so we can end here. Have a nice day. So we will be leaving at 11 o'clock. You didn't see it because you don't have a phone. 11 o'clock. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And you know what I think? Krishna will fulfill especially spiritual desires. If you are very sincere, he will fulfill your spiritual desires.
I feel like sometimes it's mixed. So I want to do service, but also there's still some
Yeah.
attachment in it somehow.
Yeah, most of the time it's mixed. If we are not pure. But it's okay, I mean,
It's what it is.
we have to in some way serve. Irgendwie müssen wir ja Krishna dienen.
Yeah. Also better to do that and not.
Und nachher wird eben der Wunsch gereinigt
Ja.
über die Zeit.
In Seal station in Germany, the train that go directly to Wittenberg called Wittenberg. But the point is this train only can you 15 minutes. So we check on the SBB app. Because we can go to Germany,
Yeah, yeah.
but only 40 minutes is
But
after.
we walk from Germany. We walk up.
We go back to Germany.
No, Germany and then we walk up.
Sure, but have a train that you stop and
Yeah, but we need to exercise.
okay.
I will probably stay here as Sushi-Boss and also Berlin. I want to do something in Berlin. Ja. Will Ella kriegen mit ihm oder so.
Was will ich machen?
Alles kriegen wir extra spielen.
How many kilometers are?
It takes 1 hour walking.
1 hour. Okay. Swiss people.
Actually, there is a story about how Portugal became the incubation of Damodar. I don't remember some.
The Buddha, Yamaraj, was cursed by a sage, Mandukemuni. And because of this curse, Yamaraj came to earth to be a son of a Shudrani, a male. A male of Shudrani. And the Buddha is a son of Vyasadeva and is Shudrani. Is male.
Yes. Yes, okay. Yes.
The father of the Buddha is Vyasadeva. And he is a creation of Yamaraj.
Yes, incarnation, not the son.
Yeah.